Hello, and welcome to the Unfiltered Eat Better, Think Better series. This is where we get real about our emotions, mindset, connection to food, and healing, and what it really takes to break free and feel good in your body and life again. I'm your host, Janie Fan. In this series, I sit down with everyday people who face challenges with their health, body, their mind, their confidence, or long held beliefs that have held them back and found powerful ways to rise and grow through it all. These are all real stories, no filters, no fluff, just raw conversations about what they struggled with, what actually helped, and how they created transformation from the inside out. So, whether you're on your own journey or just curious on what's possible, you're in the right place. Here's to eating better, thinking better, and living a phenomenal life. Let's go. So today's conversation is about strength, but perhaps not in the way that we usually think about it. I'm really excited because I am joined by Winnie Okoth, a strength and functional fitness coach, and you will correct me if there's more to expand on that. Who has spent years building her career in environments that were actually often male dominated, where she had to grow her confidence in her voice, her knowledge, and her presence as a coach and trainer. But one of the most transformative chapters of her journey didn't happen in the gym. It happened when she became a mother. And motherhood really changed the way that Winnie saw her body, her training, recovery, and ultimately what strength really means for women. And I'm so excited to dive in and explore this because we're going to explore the shift from performance to longevity, from pushing limits to rebuilding, and how strength really evolves through different seasons of life. So, Winnie, thank you so much. I'm really glad that you're here with us.
Thank you so much, Janie, for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because it's very close to my heart. It took me a while to just get to here and understand about well-being in general, not just competition-wise. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to dive into this topic.
Amazing. So before we talk about that transition into motherhood, I'd love to understand the version of Winnie that existed before that chapter. How did you see yourself as an athlete and as a coach during that time?
Oh, well, where can I start? I was a very world-class athlete. I was very competitive, chasing the medals, the certification. So basically, I valued sports from a competitive aspect of it. And then coaching as well. I think I coached everyone as an athlete. Before then, I thought that everyone was going to make it to the Olympics just like me. Um, yeah, most of it I saw fitness more of a competition rather than a longevity, rather than well-being of an individual. Yeah. And I took part in so many competitions, won so many titles. I think I was the fittest in Kenya 2017, 2023. Won a few medals, won a few medals of the Olympic weightlifting. There was the African Championship, the Arnold Classic, and then got also to be the fittest in Nairobi. So before motherhood was all about competition, and a few of the competitions also after motherhood.
Okay, wow. And for
Yeah.
anyone listening who has no idea what Olympic weightlifting is, could you just
Yeah.
describe that for us?
Yes. So Olympic weightlifting has two movements. There's one that's called a snatch, where you get the weight from the ground in one motion above your head. Then there's another one called clean and jerk, where you get to lift the weight onto your shoulders, from the ground to your shoulders, and then press it above your head. So you are meant to compete in those according to your body weight. So the heaviest you lift, depending in your weight category, that's what's going to make you a winner. So it tests
Ah,
your power. It actually tests your power. And you find that most of the athletes who are light in weight get to lift heavier because of the explosiveness.
interesting. Okay. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, where did your competitive drive come from?
I've always been competitive since childhood. Even now, if you tell me to compete in anything, listen, I'm gonna try and win in whatever competition that will be.
Oh, okay. Can you win at motherhood?
Yeah, listen, that's what I'm trying to do. It has its challenges, but I'm always trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah, yeah. I asked that
Yeah,
because it's such a tricky question, because motherhood is
yeah.
so diverse. But I digress. We're moving too far ahead. What did strength mean to you then?
Strength to me then meant lifting the heaviest weight I could lift. It meant being stronger than the person next to me. So I think that's how I viewed strength then. It was
Mm,
just being on top, and I measured it through lifting weights.
true weight, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
and then so during this sort of competitive phase where you were competing, you were also a trainer as well.
yeah. Yes, I
Okay,
was a trainer as well. And I think
yeah.
I used the competition aspect to also stay relevant so that people can respect me and know who I am. So most of the time I tried to stay ahead because I felt like that is what would make me stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you mentioned being in this career that's so male dominated, right? In this gym space,
yeah.
in the trainer space. What was
Yeah.
that experience like for you in the beginning?
I think it was very hard because I felt like people didn't listen to me or didn't value like my coaching skills because they felt like, men are the ones who are in this space and know better than me. So I felt it was quite challenging. So I had to prove myself and I had to show people like, listen, I could also do what the men are doing for me to gain that respect from them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna probably say something a little controversial here, right? But this is an open dialogue.
Yeah,
And in so many facets of this world, modern world that we live in, there's that whole male female sort of competition going on. If we look at the workspace, right, there's like women who want to climb the ranks and be CEOs, and of course we all deserve to, right? Like if you're good at it, you should be up there.
yeah,
But what fascinates me is about the physical body because physically, biologically, women and male are so different.
yeah,
And I just can't imagine what it would be like to have to be in that space and to prove yourself and grow in a space that sometimes women's bodies just aren't the same as men's. Um,
yeah,
and so I don't know, I'm throwing it out there, right? Because we are different. And it must have been
yeah.
really interesting to have to compete in a space where you know you're the best at what you do. And yet we are physically different.
Yeah, that is true. It was so hard to prove that, but you see, in the field of, because I was also doing CrossFit and coaching CrossFit, in the field of CrossFit, it found a way around it to make women almost similar to men, but using different weights, of course. But we're measuring time, how you're moving, and how you're lifting according to your body weight and according to the female category. So that brought in some sort of would say equality. Of course, not the same generally, but it was just to put like the men and the women more equal in the workouts. So there's the female weight of it, there's the male weight of it, there's the time that women were meant to do and men. So I think CrossFit brought in that aspect.
That aspect, yeah, that's amazing. And this is like a little side note, but it's because it's something I've been researching and trying to figure out for myself as well. Is with
Yeah,
the training with men, every day they can just go hard. Like, they don't, they can do the same thing every day and push, push, push.
yeah,
And for me,
yeah,
what I've been noticing recently is that it's not always the case. Like, there are some days where I'm just like, that weight that I carried last week feels 10 times heavier. And I just don't have that zest and that energy anymore.
yeah.
And I'm just very curious if you've had an experience around that where different times of the month, there's different energy, there's different strength, there's different, your body is just in a different place. I don't know if you've experienced that.
I have. And the worst part is sometimes you experience it during competition. And you're like,
Oh,
listen, I was able to do this last week, and now I have to compete, and I can't feel my body cooperate with me. There's no strength. I feel like I've pushed to my limit, and sometimes you end up not performing well during competition. So we had to check, really had to sit down with my coach and see what to adjust and how to go about it. So it's quite normal.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And like if it lands on a competition day, how do you overcome that?
So sometimes it's nutrition, recovery, and just understanding where your hormones are, and also just agreeing with your coach if today's the day to push, or we're going to step back and do what we can and meet the body where you're at. So sometimes it takes a lot of mental preparation and also just aligning with your coach as well.
I love that. So I'm going to clip this out and send it to my personal trainer as well and be like, see, I'm not the only one who's saying this. So when I say we need to go soft today,
Yeah.
it means this. I think it's so important, especially for our own progress. I
Mm,
find you gain a lot more progress when you can be so in tune in that way and you can have a
yeah.
coach that's working with you in alignment with your body. So okay, great. Thank you for that side note. But coming back to this main coaching area, did you ever doubt your voice as a coach?
So many times. So many times. It took me a couple of years to just know that, listen, I'm the best. I know what I'm saying. And listen, I have all the knowledge and all the skills. But it's really took some time to get there. It took some, like, I think self-awareness to just work on myself and be confident enough to understand that I'm the best coach and I'm knowledgeable and I have all the right tools to deliver this. Yeah, it took a while.
Amazing. You know, this word self-awareness keeps
Mm,
coming up in every
mhm.
conversation because it's so important in every area of our lives. Was there any particular practice or thing that you did that helped you grow your self-awareness?
Yes, I think I did lots of practice. I did see a therapist. I started off with a sports therapist who actually took me through because I also used to doubt myself when I would go in competition and especially international competition. And you find all these athletes who've been lifting for so many years and they have this experience. Then I'm there, newbie, so doubting myself. So I had to sit down with a sports therapist and also seek another therapist who could help me grow as a person outside of sports. So I had to look for external help to have that self-awareness because, for me, I had no idea what was happening to me because I thought it was okay. But seeking out external help helps you reflect and understand the type of person you are.
Yeah. Wow, I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that so openly because I think it's really important for people to hear that it's okay to go get help and that helps you become a better person. And sometimes people can do it on their own and sometimes for people they do need that external support. So thank you for sharing that. Was there a moment was there a moment that you realized that you truly belonged in that space?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. You're back. So, I was just gonna ask you now, was there a moment that you realized you truly belonged in this space, in this arena?
Yeah, I think the first one when I started winning, left, right, and center, of course, that boosted my confidence. And then
Yeah.
the other thing is just getting feedback from the client of how much I've helped them, the impact I've had in their lives. I think that was a game changer, just getting the feedback from the clients. So that really proved that whatever it is that I was doing was impactful and I was actually making a difference in the world. So that really boosted my confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then moving into that shift to motherhood, right? Motherhood enters the story, which often sort of changes everything.
Mhm.
What surprised you most about how pregnancy and motherhood affected? Let's start with your relationship with your body.
Let's start with pregnancy. I needed to reconcile with myself and understand that I need to embrace the changes that was happening. First of all, it's just sleep when you're pregnant, the different changes that you get to experience. So for someone who values an 8 hour sleep as an athlete, you're told to like get good rest, maximum rest. It was quite difficult to get that when you're pregnant because of the insomnia. So having to reconcile that and accept that this is going to be the new normal was quite difficult for me, and then understanding how to train while pregnant, what to tweak, and that I'm not going to train the same as I used to for competition, and not being able to do the things that I was able to do while not pregnant. Yeah, that was quite difficult. So it's just
Yeah.
sitting down and embracing the change and knowing that, whoo, I need to take a step back and just embrace this new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, feel free to say no to answering this question, but
Yeah.
was it planned or was it a surprise?
That they were all planned. So I have two
Okay,
kids and they were all planned. It wasn't a
okay.
surprise. So I really I think I enjoyed my pregnancy, especially my
Yeah.
first, because my first one I trained throughout until my boss was like, yeah, I think it's time for you to go home and just prepare for your bath. I know you can be here until you go to the hospital, but please feel free to go home and prepare for the bath. So I really enjoyed it because for someone who was used to movement, movement really came in handy, even with the mood swings, when you're training through pregnancy, it helps with your mood swings and sometimes even with the sleep. So I would say I really appreciated that I was athletic even before the pregnancy because it came in handy.
Yeah. And I was asking that because was there any sort of pre-framework that you were using to maybe support the change that was going to happen in terms of a mindset perspective that you knew that yeah you want to get pregnant and then like logically we know okay there's going to be some changes that need to take place but did you work on any of that before to prepare yourself for what was going to happen?
Not really. I don't think I did. I just believed that
Yeah.
my body was strong enough to handle that. And
Okay.
after years and years of doing exercises, I believed in my body and gave it the the confidence that it needed to
Yeah.
go through when you're pregnant. So I didn't have to think about that.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
And that moment now that you realized you couldn't approach training the same way that you used to, right? What did that
Yeah.
moment mean to you?
It meant that I had to pose, of course, my calendar, my competition calendar. It meant that I had to adjust my schedule. There's so many things that I had to adjust and came to terms with that, especially from someone who used to work out like all through almost 3 hours at the gym and spend my whole day at the gym. So there are things I needed to adjust in my life to just accommodate that.
Yeah, yeah, true. And did you ever feel that you lost a part of the athlete that you once were?
Yes, yes. I'm still struggling with that. Now being a mom of two and splitting my time with my kids, and also creating a career that's going to be able to fund my lifestyle and my kids. I found it really difficult to get back to the athlete that I was because of
Mm,
just the balance. I can't find the balance because, being an athlete requires a lot of work. You have to put in the time. So right now, I find that I don't have enough time to train for that. I would be at the gym for like 3 hours just training, and now I can only squeeze in 30 to 45 minutes so that I can also coach and then come back home to my kids. So it's been quite difficult. I haven't found a balance in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And is it something you still really want to do to compete again?
I do. I really want to, but I'm like, I don't know if I have the resources or the capability to, but I really want to.
You really want it. Yeah. I find
Yeah.
when there's a really strong will,
Yeah.
a way develops. We don't know how, but somewhere along the way it sort of does.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah. When you
Yeah.
were pregnant the first time, did you feel any sort of pressure internally or externally to, bounce back and get back in the game?
Oh, yes, yes, especially from the people around me. They're like, you worked out all through. So how come, like, you're not yet, like, we can't see the snapback? Because everyone expected me to snap back
Mm.
immediately because I trained throughout, and that was everyone's expectation. So yeah, it was quite difficult mentally, but gathering the knowledge that I did when I did my certification in pregnancy and postpartum fitness, it really helped me understand what the human body goes through when you're pregnant and postpartum.
Okay, we lost you there for a second. So you were just talking about getting the knowledge from the certification that you were doing.
Yeah, so saying the knowledge that I gained for pregnancy and postpartum helped me navigate the motherhood journey because now I was aware of what their body goes through when you're pregnant and postpartum. So it allowed me to give myself grace and extend grace to the mothers around me as well. So I think it's very important to just understand what women go through when they're pregnant and postpartum as well.
Mhm. Tell us some of the things that you go through.
Uh, so there's of course the different the body changes. We
Yeah.
go through mood swings, and then one of the things that really hits me that I didn't know is all those things that we go through, like the pelvic pressure when you're pregnant, and
Mhm.
then the separation of the abs. I had no idea. If I didn't do my certification, I wouldn't have known that that's what women go through. And
Wow.
urinary incontinence, where you can't hold your pee, and then hernia. Yeah, so I think that those are the major changes that women experience when
Yeah.
pregnant and postpartum.
So this, I mean, you're saying all these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be so worried for anyone who's
Yeah,
pregnant, right? Separation of the abs, like what? I mean, I know this is you're not saying all of this to scare people, but it's more as an informational perspective. But now
yes.
that you know this stuff happens, is there a way to mitigate this, or like, what did you find helped you most so that you
Mhm.
don't suffer the worst consequences, let's say?
First, let me start by saying that this is normal, like most women go through, especially the separation of the abs. It is normal to each and every woman, especially the third trimester, because your body has to make room for the baby. The baby has to fit into your belly, so it's normal. And then the other thing is, it always goes back. It's just a few percentage of the women that the gap doesn't go back as before. And there are different ways, different exercises that can help you bring that back. So it's not something that's going to be there forever. You can work and get it better with the right coach, a coach who's knowledgeable about pregnant and postpartum training. And then even the pelvic pain, we have pelvic physiotherapist. Did you know that? I didn't know that
No.
until I did my course and then I did my research and found a network of women who actually specialize in pelvic physiotherapy.
Wow.
Yeah. So these things you can actually work through them and get better. It's not a sentence.
Yeah. Wow. I love
Yeah.
that. And is there an importance to what you do before you fall pregnant?
Yes, it is, and I think I'm also helping women with that. There's some women who are also going through like IVF, so it's just getting your body strong for the
Mm.
process. So even doing like strength training helps you prepare yourself for that. So I really advocate for people to start with movement exercises, whichever form of exercises, but I recommend strength training to just get your body ready for that.
Mm. Wow. And then what is it like to rebuild your body after pregnancy? What did that actually look like for you?
It was very slow and very annoying, especially for someone who was athletic. It was very boring. But then you get to understand and see the progress and the effects of the workout. So just by working on your breath and connecting your core and your pelvic floor, because after pregnancy, you have no strength. Like your core is gone. Some people come in and they're like, I can't even feel my core. I don't know what that's like. So breathing helps with reconnecting that and
Yeah.
just incorporating the nervous system to help you heal your body. So just the breath work alone is very boring, but it's very necessary. So it took a while to understand that and just slow things down because I was thinking of it long term. Even for my clients, we sit down and think of it long term because it's going to come in handy. So of course the rehabilitation, starting in with breath work, pelvic core, and then now incorporating like body weight workouts and then moving over to strength and then fitness. So it's just breaking
Yeah.
down and understanding, and also understanding the why you're doing that helps you embrace the slowness and the recovery process.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's another thing. I find there's so much pressure on women in general, let's say, right, to
yeah,
look a certain way. And
yeah,
then now add on to this the complication of going through a pregnancy. Your body is completely changed, your hormones have shifted and changed. And now then
yeah,
again having that, external pressure of, well, you better bounce back and look like how you did before. And
yeah,
sometimes we force ourselves too quickly into trying to get back and do things that we used to do. And sometimes your body is just not ready for that. So I love that idea that you said of just patience, being kind to yourself, giving yourself time. Like you've done something miraculous for the last 9 months. So
yeah,
give your body a chance to just come back to where it needs to be and love yourself in the process of it, rather than being so hard on yourself that why isn't this happening quickly? Like why isn't my core back? And yeah, just being more patient with yourself.
yeah, yeah. And also having like the right community, the community that went through the same process as you, help you extend your self-grace because it makes you understand that you're not alone. So having a community of other mothers who are going through the journey or have gone through the journey helps you just extend your self-grace and having the patience and knowing that I'm not the only one going through this, and I'll definitely come out of the other side recovered and stronger than before.
So now having gone through all of this, how did this process change your understanding or maybe your definition of strength?
Whoa. I would start by saying strength is just being able to get up in the morning and just do what you're able to do. Before, strength for me would have been like, listen, I need to squat 150 today. I need to clean and jerk 100 kilos. I need to do this. My strength was measured with the weight that I could lift and
Mhm.
how like my body could move. The certain amount of weight or the number of burpees I could do. And now strength to me is just being able to wake up in the morning, being able to lift my children, being able to go for a walk with my children, just being able to survive this life. For me, that's strength now. And that really changed. I wasn't this person. If you met people who knew me before, they'd be like, nah, that's not the Winnie we knew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
interesting how it just completely changes.
Yeah.
Completely. And what was patience? I mean, what did patience look like for you during this whole time?
Patience to me looks like even understanding mothers when they come to class late. Before, like, if you come to class even 1 minute late, you're not going to join my class. No, I'm like, it's okay. I understand because I'm a mom and I know what it takes to show up on time and be somewhere on time. So that's the first thing, the patience that I have now, and just guiding someone from zero to where they need to be while coaching. Motherhood has changed me, literally.
Yeah, I can just see it. I
Yeah,
mean, just from the start of the conversation of who you were describing you were to now,
yeah,
yeah, it's a complete identity shift.
yeah. And then also just understanding, like when my clients come in and to meet them where they're at on that day. Before I wouldn't tolerate that because I'd be like, you're not doing it for me, it's for you. But now I understand, like the days you come in, you didn't have enough sleep, the baby was awake, they're going through milestones, regression. And I have to meet you where you're at, knowing that your energy today it's a certain point. So how can we work with that and still achieve our results of the day?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. You have that compassion now because you've gone through it yourself.
Yes, and I
Yeah,
can relate. Yeah.
and you can relate. Yeah. At what point does someone start training again with you then? Postpartum.
Postpartum, I advise 6 weeks. So you just have the first 6 weeks to recover. The first 6 weeks you can move around, just walking and breathing. Then after 6 weeks, we get into it. It doesn't matter if it's CS or vaginal birth because
Yeah.
we progress. We start slowly by just rebuilding, as I said earlier, rebuilding your core and working on your pelvic floor. And then, according to the response of your body, we keep gradually progressing. So it's different for everyone.
Wow, I was gonna say, hang on, after 6 weeks, that's like a month and a half, right? You don't
Yeah.
even know. your baby, and I'm assuming, okay, I'm just assuming these things, right? But
Yeah.
it's like 6 weeks. But for anyone listening who might be thinking, okay, after 6 weeks, you're going and hitting the gym, maybe let's just clarify. What do you mean when they come in after 6 weeks? Like, what are you actually starting off with doing and assessing?
So what we do, we assess also if the first thing I do is start with their breathing, see how they've been breathing and help them with that. And then the other assessment is to check their diastasis. Check when they're sitting up, is the stomach bulging out? Can you see a gap? Also, if you put your finger in, how wide is the gap? What's the length of the gap? Then the other thing we check is, are there any symptoms in the pelvic area? Are they feeling pain? So that, and then from that, we create a program. Now, the program will start off slowly by gradually just strengthening the core and making sure that the core is coordinating with the pelvic area. They need to work together for the mom to recover. Then once we're able to see that the mom is strong enough to now move to body weight exercises, still with incorporating the core and the pelvic floor, then we transition to that. And then
Hmm.
from there again, seeing the strength and the progression will now transition to lifting weights. And then now, again, as you're lifting weights, you're still incorporating the core and the pelvic floor. And then after that, now, depending on how you're responding to strength, we move to fitness. So fitness will still incorporate strength, but also a bit of the cardiovascular so that at least also your heart is
Yeah.
also getting stronger. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not like after 6 weeks you're going and then doing a hit session.
No, no, I don't advocate for that because also most people who are unaware of this go in there in the notion that, I'm gonna be as I used to be before pregnancy, and then they find out, oh, my body does not respond well to this type of exercise, or they're not even able to finish the exercise.
Yeah.
So I advocate for gradually and slowly progressing before you go back to those type of movements.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Makes so much sense. Okay.
Yeah,
You've shared something really powerful with me on one of the beliefs that really, really helped you through everything. And
yeah,
that was when that strength evolves rather than disappears.
yeah.
When did you start to see that for yourself?
I would say my first pregnancy, when I came back and I tried to be the athlete that I used to be, it didn't work for me. So what I had to do was have a meeting with myself and reconcile with the fact that that person is gone and you have a new identity, which happens a lot when you go through motherhood. You just have to accept that that old version of you is gone. Now you need to embrace this new version. So when I started embracing this new version and meeting myself where I was at, I went back into competition and I won. I won. Yeah. Yeah, I won. And that to me was like a new strength because I didn't go in trying to lift heavy and be the old version of myself. I went in with this new version of myself. And that to me was strength. The fact that I reconciled the past Winnie to the new Winnie. That was my version of strength. And then the second one was going through grief and just finding the strength to be there for my children and also be there for my clients. Yeah, it was a whole new transition. And that's, again, is my version of strength. My version of strength wasn't like weight or anything of the sort. It was how I was transitioning into life and being able to still wake up in the morning and keep going and being grateful for the little things that I can look at and be joyful again for.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
a huge other transition as well through
yeah,
that second period. Yeah.
yeah.
Agree. Okay, as we start to wrap up, why do you
Mhm.
think society often treats motherhood as like the end of athletic identity?
I feel like because we don't have the knowledge. And
Mm,
we are going through the tradition belief that, once you're a mother, you have to drop everything and just the focus will be on your kids. forgetting that if we also focus on ourselves, if we are happy and we are strong, then our kids are able to get the best of us. So I think it's just the traditional belief that motherhood is the end of everything. But I tell people that motherhood is the start of everything else that's about to unfold in your life. So motherhood to me is not the end, but the beginning. Because it's through motherhood that you start growing as a person. You start knowing yourself. You start having all this new personality and this new strength. Because listen, if you're strong mentally, physically, emotionally, then that reflects onto your kids and onto your lives. So I think it's just lack of knowledge as well, if I'm to
Yeah.
summarize it. Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably agree with that. I mean, even just from the conversation we've had today, there's new things that I've learned, and I'm like, whoa, why isn't
Yeah.
this stuff just common knowledge for women, and why is this not known to us, right? Like even whether it's through coaches and trainers like you or doctors or someone, but someone informing us of these changes that are going to happen with our body and what we can do about it
Yeah.
to serve ourselves best. Yeah, it is knowledge. And that's part of the beauty of these series, right? Is that when we have
Yeah.
these conversations, we get to now share this knowledge even more, even more.
True.
What do you wish more women understood about their bodies during and after pregnancy?
I would say that during pregnancy, the changes that you're experiencing are normal. And most of the women who have been pregnant have gone through all that. But postpartum doesn't mean that you need to live with the pain, and the pain is not normal, and there's something that you can do about it. And one of the major ones that I want most of the women to know that it's not normal to live with back pain after baby. You can do something about that. And most of it is just from the symptoms that you experience during postpartum. And diastasis is the separation of the abs. It can cause back pain. Weak pelvic floor can cause back pain. So what I'm saying is you don't have to live with those pains. You can work through it and get better and eliminate the pain.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
amazing. That's so empowering. So empowering.
yeah,
I usually ask my guests a question as we
yeah.
wrap up. And that final question is, if healing had a voice, what would it say to you today?
If healing has a voice, what would it say to me today? It would say that you get better by being intentional of how in whatever way, be it a season of life, emotional healing, be it physical healing, it would say that if you're intentional about it and you want to heal, you actually get better. You have to be intentional. It is not healing. Okay, I just remembered. Healing should not define you. Like whatever you're going through should not define you. Do not let it define you, rather than be intentional in your healing process. I want you to be able to think of it that you want to heal and don't want the season of life that you're going through define you.
Yeah. Oh, powerful, powerful. I love that. And if people want to find you, where can they find you? How can they reach you and hear more about this incredible work that you're doing?
Well, my social media is they can find me on Instagram, Winnie underscore Okos.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
both my Instagram and my Facebook. And then they can find me on TikTok, liazi.mamamoves, and also on Instagram, it's liazi.mamamoves for if you want to talk motherhood and, have any
Yeah,
questions in regards to motherhood. Yeah.
amazing. And just to clarify, do you do group classes, one-to-ones? What sort of,
Yes.
yeah, what do you offer?
Yes, I do group classes coaching at SmashFit, Sarit Center. And then I also do one-on-one coaching. So they can just DM me, reach out to me if they want to be coached by me. I specialize in pregnancy and postpartum coaching and also just strength training for women. I walk the journey of womanhood with women from when they're not mothers, when they're young, to motherhood, to perimenopause, menopausal, postmenopausal. So basically, I want to walk with women throughout their season of life.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Winnie, for being here.
Thank you so much, Janie, for having me.
That was an incredible conversation with Winnie. So much insight, so much knowledge, and more women need to be empowered with this information. So thank you, Winnie. If this conversation resonated with you, helped you, or made you feel seen, please be sure to hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And come join our free Facebook community, Eat Better, Think Better. It's where these conversations continue and where you'll find real people walking the same path. If you're ready to go deeper in your own journey, whether it's healing your relationship with food, shifting your mindset, or breaking free from beliefs that are holding you back, you'll find more support, resources, and ways to work with me at www.eatbetterthinkbetter.com. So until next time, here's to eating better, thinking better, and living a phenomenal life. Let's go.